South China Sea. It is a vast blue arena of rising global tension. Here, in these contested international waters, the lines of engagement are invisible, but deadly. A U.S. Navy A-18F Super Hornet, callsign Razor 41, sliced through the humid air on a routine patrol, protecting the USS Nimitz carrier strike group. The pilot, Lieutenant Commander Viper Harris, had done this hundreds of times. But today, the air had a metallic taste. His fuel was low. His focus was absolute. Then the cockpit screamed. A piercing tone, sharp and cold, tore through the silence. Radar lock. And the plane on his tail wasn't a training partner. It was a fully armed Chinese J-11 flanker, and the flanker was accelerating. To understand this moment, we must understand the geopolitical minefield of the South China Sea. For years, the U.S. Navy has conducted freedom of navigation operations, FONOPs, asserting the right to transit international waters contested by Beijing. These missions are a diplomatic statement backed by 100,000 tons of steel, the aircraft carrier. The F-A-18 Super Hornet is the teeth of the carrier air wing. A multi-role fighter, it's designed not for one-on-one glory, but as a critical piece of a highly integrated combat network. On this day, Razor 41 was carrying out an outer air battle patrol. Its job was to identify and deter any threat before it reached the exclusion zone. But the Chinese pilots flying the Russian-designed J-11s are aggressively trained to intercept, harass, and test the American rules of engagement. The goal is provocation, to force a mistake. This particular J-11 was not just close, it was a weapon waiting to be fired. The distance was closing fast, and Commander Harris knew exactly what the electronic signature meant. The threat was active, and the pilot was hostile. The J-11 closed to just 1,000 feet, violating all international safety protocols. In the cockpit, Harris was fighting two battles: the physical threat and the legal constraints. The ROE dictated a complex dance: identify, warn, maneuver defensively, but never fire the first shot unless the threat was imminent. Harris tried standard evasive turns. The J-11 mirrored him, getting closer. The Chinese pilot was now performing a dangerous head-chopping maneuver, crossing directly in front of the Super Hornet to create wake turbulence and degrade the American jet's sensor capability. This was no longer an intercept. This was a direct, reckless provocation. On the USS Nimitz, the Combat Information Center, CIC, was a hive of controlled chaos. The E-2D Hawkeye, flying high above as the eye in the sky, was feeding real-time data to the carrier group commander. Every twist, every turn was being monitored. Then came the event Harris had been dreading. The cockpit tone went from a warning ping to a sustained, high-pitched scream: weapons lock. The J-11's fire control radar had illuminated Razor 41. The American jet was now a target. In that split second, the ROE changed. The hostile act was executed. Harris immediately initiated a pre-planned brake turn. He pushed the Super Hornet to its limit, pulling 9 Gs as he yanked the stick, turning the plane into a violently aggressive knot of aluminum and thrust.
The G-forces pinned him deep into his seat. His vision tunneled. But the Super Hornet, with its powerful General Electric F414 engines, responded instantly. The J-11, heavier and less maneuverable in close combat, overshot. The roles were suddenly reversed. Harris had not just dodged a threat, he had put himself on the adversary's 6. The J-11 pilot was now reacting, not provoking. Harris had approximately 3 seconds to make his next move. Firing a missile was still an act of war, a massive escalation that could doom the CSG and potentially start a global conflict. But Harris had another option: superiority through technology. He hit the buttons for his Advanced Electronic Warfare Suite. The F-18's ALQ-214 Integrated Defensive Electronic Countermeasure System went live. Simultaneously, he manually activated his chaff and flare dispensers to confuse the enemy's missile guidance systems, not because a missile was fired, but to demonstrate readiness. Crucially, his F-18's AN-APG-79 active electronically scanned array radar, far superior to the J-11's older system, locked onto the enemy jet with surgical precision. Harris didn't launch a missile. He launched a warning. His powerful, highly focused radar beam, a form of soft-kill electronic attack, painted the J-11. The effect was instantaneous. The Chinese pilot's radar warning receiver was now screaming even louder than Harris's had been. He was locked, tracked, and exposed by a superior system. The J-11 pilot knew he had lost all tactical advantage. The provocation had backfired. The Chinese jet immediately disengaged, banking hard and turning away, back toward its claimed territory.
The encounter was a pure demonstration of deterrence through capability. The U.S. Navy proved that its combination of superior intelligence from the Hawkeye, a disciplined pilot, and advanced electronic warfare systems could negate a reckless, aggressive threat without firing a single bullet. This incident, and others like it, underscore a core truth of modern air warfare. The fight is often won by who sees first, who maneuvers best, and who controls the electromagnetic spectrum. A 9G turn is worthless if your radar is blinded, and a missile lock is useless if the target can instantaneously jam the guidance system. The Super Hornet didn't just survive, it dominated the encounter through technological supremacy. The J-11 pilot pushed the line, and the Super Hornet pushed back with an overwhelming show of force, maintaining the peace by demonstrating the devastating cost of war. Lieutenant Commander Harris landed Razor 4-1 back on the Nimitz catapult a short time later. No celebration, no trophies, just the intense, immediate debriefing that follows a near-war event. The real battle for air dominance is fought every day in the manufacturing plants of defense contractors, in the digital labs of radar engineers, and in the sheer, unwavering professionalism of the Navy pilots. These are the sharpest points of a global confrontation, moments where peace hangs on the edge of a razor-sharp control surface.